That way we can watch the playground.
All right. It's a little crooked, isn't it? Yeah, you're right, Christopher. So, well, we've got the option. I don't know. I like moving around, but it's hard to do with the live stuff. See, Tiffany says we're blurry. Maybe we're at least audible. Okay. So this is the Q&A that almost didn't happen. We've had quite a bit going on today. It's been raining. First of all, we're in Custer State Park in South Dakota. So it's a really awesome state park. I almost hit a buffalo yesterday accidentally. But you were probably like, how in the world would you almost hit a buffalo?
It can happen.
Well, there's very sharp curves. And so I came around a curve and it was right there waiting on me. Is that our daughter doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so yeah.
She's glad to be out. It's been raining.
It's been raining most of the day, and this was our plan. We're like, we'll just stop at a playground. She can play. We can do the live Q&A, and all will be good. But we took a wrong turn, went 30 minutes out of the way, even though we've been here before, because that's the other problem is there's no connection at our campground where we're at, and so that's why our YouTube video was out late. It usually comes out, I don't know, it was a day late or whatever on our YouTube video. But so hopefully we got everything worked out. I think there's a pretty good connection here. This is Custer. Just Custer, I guess, the city of Custer, right? In Custer County. General Custer got a lot of stuff named after him. The only thing I remember he did was, like the Custer's Last Stand, where we'll visit that at some point. Kind of charged in and got taken out by Indians, from what I understand. But
yeah, this is a beautiful area.
That's another day. But yeah, today is boondocking. I guess most of you probably know what boondocking is, but it's our general term is basically we're just going to consider boondocking parking with no hookups and probably a little more. It is beautiful, Lori. No hookups. What's he got going on with that?
Emoji of you hitting a...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're quick on that.
Love the emojis.
But no hookups, but not like a Walmart parking lot. We'd say maybe just more of a rustic feel, which is what we go for. We wouldn't go through the trouble of solar and generator and all that just to park in Walmart parking lots or stealth camping. Stealth camping could be a part of that, I guess, too, but we're not very stealthy with what we've got.
Yeah, it's not incognito.
I haven't given us a chance to answer this question, but I want to start off with a question for you guys. What's the most intimidating part about boondocking for you? And I'll share mine, see if Marissa can think of hers. And for me, maybe it's a guy thing because I'm like in charge of the family, where we're going and what we're doing. But the most intimidating part for me was that I would take my family, we would drive sometimes an hour out of the way in the middle of nowhere, and either we wouldn't find it or, there wouldn't be anywhere to park or it wouldn't feel safe. Because it's not like a campground a lot of the times where you can call ahead or look at a lot of information. Like the place we're at now, I could hardly find any information on it. But we went for it and it was okay. But I don't know, what's intimidating to you? That's what's intimidating to me.
Cooking.
Cooking?
Yeah, that's always really stressful. I don't know, you have to plan and that could be me. I'm not great at it yet. Planning meals and trying to make it work without having any kind of power whatsoever. So that's why we've been working. No AC, yes. Yeah. Definitely. But planning all your meals around not having any kind of power, and I know we've got the generator, but some people don't like to use them very often. I don't know, we just don't want to be that person, the only one using our generator. So there's been times where we're sweating and not taking a shower. Yes.
Yeah, those are both pretty bad.
Hey, my list goes on and on too.
Well, I'll admit I'm just as good at eating while we boondock as when we're not boondocking. I can eat. The cooking might be a struggle, but
I don't know. That always kind of stresses me a little bit.
Let's see. Kale's asking about the solar. Instant Pot has now come out in a new mini 3-quart version.
Oh, cool.
That would be helpful. Because I wonder if it takes less power than the one we've got now, too. Okay. All right, we'll talk about all that. We'll talk about the solar and some other stuff, too. We could hop to the solar. So I guess the first thing, 700 watts. That's awesome, Sharon. Because ours is 1,000 watts. So anything that's less, we don't need all the space in the Instant Pot really. So that mini would really help, I'd say, for boondocking. I didn't know they had that. Solar. I guess the first question was solar. We can give an update on our solar. It's been pretty awesome. Most places. If you're in a place like right now, the place we're at is in a forest, so it's been super cloudy, raining, and just basically not getting a lot of sunlight right now. So the solar's not doing much anything. It wouldn't matter if we had 200 watts, or I don't think it'd matter if we had 1,500 watts. It's just there's just nothing there for it to get. So in that case, I mean, I do think there are situations where a generator can come in handy. But having said that, this is the first place we went with our solar where I feel like it's kind of struggled. It's been awesome. The other places, when we're out in the open or we're getting plenty of sunlight, we can just during the day when the sun's out and we're getting in 20 to 30 amps we need it. I mean, we can run just about anything but the AC. I'd say we haven't really done much with the microwave yet.
I've said it's been a game changer for us. I mean, almost like nothing's changed, and that's kind of your goal. Is like you want to be able to
swap spots.
Yeah.
She's changed playgrounds on us. So
Hey, Hensley, stay over here, baby.
Well, and that was the goal when we got solar. Was we really wanted it to feel not that different.
Yeah, you want to just go on about life how you would if you had hookups, and that's kind of the goal. And it's almost there. Like it's been a game changer for real.
It's been good. I think if you don't follow the weather and you're in extreme heat, it's even people we know that have spent like 10, 15 grand on a solar setup. They're like, I spent 15 grand on my solar, and I mean, they can run their AC for like 3 hours. So I mean, which is nice. I guess in the hot part of the day you could turn that on, but that's a lot of money for just being able to run AC that amount. So I'm still all about. I think generators do have their use. Where if you get in like a bind, and we'll kind of talk about generators, or I could lead into that, I guess too. But you guys, if you saw the video with the reason we got the Champion, it wasn't because I'm in love with Champion as a brand, but we. I was gonna let. What was the list of the intimidating stuff? We had no AC. Did we get all those? 700 watts. A lot of talk in the Travato group. Okay. Make sure I don't miss any comments. We mainly got our Champion because of the dual fuel, the propane and the gasoline. I thought that'd be awesome to run off propane, which it's just not putting out the power it should on propane. Gas has been great. We ran the AC on it a few times, so it's running AC fine. But I think it's good to have that generator as a backup. But having said that, I don't know if you're starting out. I don't know that you need a generator that's that beefy. I really, after looking at the Honda, I almost bought that Honda 2000 a ton. That's probably like the best-selling generator I bet out there for RVers, the Honda 2000. It's a great generator. So looking back, I almost think I would have just bought it, and then if the time came and I needed it, I would have bought a second Honda and then bundled those up for the few times we need AC. Because the Champion's big, it's bulky, it's heavy. That's if I was going back. I think that's probably what I would have done on that with a generator. But if you're starting out, I think don't like just buy an RV and then spend 5-10 grand on solar right off the bat. I would get a feel for. We're all about trying to get a feel for what kind of RVing works for you. So I would start off just getting a generator, even if it's just a used. Champion's got like the Honda one. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's like maybe 1,000, 1,200 maybe for the 2,000 watts, something like that. You could buy that, or you could even buy a Champion that's probably gonna be half the price. But no, when you buy a Champion, it's gonna be a little bit louder, not quite as efficient. Probably not as well built, but not drastically. It'll still do what you need, but it just won't keep up with the Honda. So I'm a big fan of, I think, starting out with a generator and then kind of getting a feel for how often you're going to boondock. You might go do some of the stuff we do in that list we had with the AC and the cooking and the showering and say, yeah, that's not for me. And the good news is you've only got, maybe $500 into a used generator or Champion or something like that. You're not out that much money. So I'm a big fan of doing that first. And worst case is later on, you can still use that generator along with the solar, is a cool thing with that.
Because we've done more and more boondocking as we've got comfortable.
Yeah.
When we started out, I didn't even know what the term boondocking meant. I remember having to Google it, thinking,
I'll answer that question.
What does boondocking mean? And then when I read it, it's like, no hookups. I'm like, well, how do you survive? I didn't even understand. So we've come a long way from that to where we actually like look for boondocking spots and enjoy the challenge.
To catch up on comments here, Carl talked about where we parked under the lights. We didn't do that intentionally. I think we might have actually got some a little bit. We didn't know you could actually do that. But you can park. Somebody said you could park underneath lights, like in a Walmart parking lot, and get just a tiny bit of solar, like maybe an amp out of those overnight. Which an amp adds up if you're not using much inside. Sharon asks, why are generators not standard with travel trailers but with motorized RVs? You'll see a lot of stuff aren't standard with the travel trailers. For the most part, they're more of the budget category, and so you won't see like the automatic levelers, you won't see generators. For the most part, now if you found the toy hauler travel trailers might, I don't think it comes with it, may at least have a hookup area for it. If you found a toy hauler travel trailer, I can't remember if they did or not. We didn't ever check that.
I don't know. I can't remember either.
But good, yeah. Christopher says everything's looking good. But yeah, most of your motorhomes are going to have that built in, and it's nice. There's lots of advantages to having that generator in the motorhome.
It was super handy.
Yeah.
I will admit, the motorhome and having that on board, because we could, pull over in a Walmart, and then if I needed to heat something up in the microwave, I just hit a button and it turns on. And now it's like Nathan has to get the generator out of the van, and then we have to have it hooked up, and it's so. But I mean, you pay for those amenities. I mean, and we knew that, and we were like, if the generator goes on the motorhome, I mean, what'd you say? It was like $5,000 to replace the generator.
Yeah. Well, and that's the good and the bad. The generator, when you buy a motorhome, the generator is meant to run everything on the motorhome. There's none of this calculating, like, oh, do I get a Honda 2000? Then I add something to it later. It should run everything right out of the box. It's a beast.
But it was so convenient.
It was. You start it with a button instead of having to go outside in the rain or drag your generator out and all that kind of stuff. And then, another advantage too is if you're leaving for the day, a lot of times we're boondocking, our generator, I mean, I've got it chained up, but again, like a lot of stuff with RVing, if somebody really, really, really wants that thing and has something heavy to cut it with, they could probably get, they could get the generator if they want to. So sometimes I put it up depending on where we're at, but I have left it out when we boondock. And so with a motorhome, you don't have to worry about that. It's sealed in a locked bay if you want to lock it inside the motorhome. And that's kind of the advantages of a generator on a motorhome versus even if you got one for a travel trailer.
But that's true. I wish they would kind of add them. That would be nice.
Yeah. Some of the questions I mentioned we talk about, how do you find boondocking spots? The real good ones, I'll be honest, and we haven't had a lot of those, you'll find out through forums and face-to-face and just here around a campfire, that kind of thing. Those are the real good ones that people are like, don't tell anybody. But, but for the most part, and we have known very few, if any of those anyways. We haven't been around enough campfires, I think.
Well, I think people don't want to tell us because they know that we'll do it.
They're probably afraid to tell us. So we don't get a hold of the real good ones. But beyond that, almost everything starts with all stays. It'll show you boondocking sites. You have different kinds of boondocking. You've got national parks, or well, there's in national parks too, but national forests. There's national grasslands here in San Diego, South Dakota. I need to quit talking.
What was that website that everybody kept talking about at that last place?
Freecampsites.net is another one you can use online. And then Wikicamps is another app you may want to see. What's up, Hensley?
I got it.
So those are 3 places we've checked, and then beyond that, it's just homework on those places, checking forums and see what people say about those places. I'm a fan of Google Earth. You can get on Google Earth and you can see the boondocking area, see how big it is, how much space there is, and sometimes you can already see RVs parked there to get an idea. Because that's one of my fears. I don't want to show up and there just be a tiny little area and it already be lined up with everybody. But I can say that it's not. Most of the places we've looked at to boondock, it's pretty rare that there's not going to be anywhere to park. Now, you may not have the best view. You may not have the most level spot if you get there late. If you get there during the week, early in the morning, for the most part, you're going to be okay to get a good spot and all that. And it's usually open land, so you're usually not going to run out of space. So it's kind of not really a valid fear of what I've had, but I still like to check things out because some of these are off the beaten path as far as the solar spots, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Daddy.
Hey, girl. What you doing? You want to say hi over here?
Come here.
Come here and say hi. Hey, do you want to show them, we'll take a Hensley break. You want to show them the bubbles? Come here, I'll show them the bubbles real quick. And then I'll let you go, play. There we go. I think it shows. I don't think Isn't that cool? That's crazy.
What that?
They're telling you hi.
They're telling you hi, Hensley.
Can you
They're
tell them hi?
Hi.
All right, we put back the name.
You like the bubbles?
You like the bubbles? I like the bubbles too.
What that?
We'll do some more of those later. We're using my iPhone, which is different, so it has like some little filters set up. And she's wanting to do. There's a monster one on here. We'll do it later.
I need the monster.
We'll do the monster one later. Can you stay clean while boondocking? I'll let Marissa handle that one.
How clean is clean? That's the
Do
question.
people smell you while you're walking around? I don't know.
You can stay clean while you're boondocking. It just depends how much. It just depends how much you want to use your water up. I mean, we've got a limit, and you can break camp and go and get water, or we have the portable jugs that we try to look for water when we're out and about so we can fill up. But I mean, the more water you use, the more in your gray tank, the more you'll have to break camp and go do that. So if we're staying at a place that does have a bathhouse, we'll try to use that. If not, most of your boondocking spots like that are free won't have anything like that. But you can do the every other day skip and just use wipes in between. Dry shampoo becomes your friend. We even ran into a couple they were hardcore. We are not this hardcore, but they had a water sprayer, and they were out in their bathing suits, like spraying off with this water sprayer.
They said they're in a suburban neighborhood doing that.
Yeah,
People-
taking a shower. So
I think they're doing stealth camping and stuff too.
we have not become that hardcore, but we will take a shower and then use the wipes, and then that'll save us quite a bit. We can go almost a week doing that.
Yeah, well, the military shower thing's a big deal too. Only turning the water on when you absolutely have to have it. All that. It's just the little things with RVing. It's like when you leave for the day, you don't want to leave your lights on. If you're boondocking, it'll drain your batteries. It doesn't seem like much to leave one light on. It's a big deal. When you're taking a shower, it's a big deal to turn that water off unless you absolutely need it. You're more conscious about everything, which is kind of neat in a way. Tiffany said, what's she doing? Go ahead, I'll take it. Which is kind of neat in a way because this is, you guys get to see us live. If you can imagine, when we do our videos, you don't see most of this. There's tons of cuts, which is kind of like the YouTube style. But a lot of times there's a lot of cuts because Hensley's just cranky, or I don't know, whatever she kind of wants going on. But it makes you more aware of what you really need. Because, I guess it kind of gets that realization of how wasteful, not that you're trying to be wasteful, but how much more resources you use in a house, I guess, if that makes any sense. Because I know taking a shower is just on nonstop, and everything else. So that's a part of boondocking, I think, a good part of it. Solar power motion detected lights, come on, really, yes. We gotta grab dinner. Thank you guys, thanks for coming in. I've looked into, and I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you can put a timer on the propane water heater. I've thought about doing that too, to kind of save on propane maybe is one thing. That's a total side topic, but all right.
The last thing I saw was it was an adjustment period, and that is
yes, it is.
I'm one of those people that the highlight of my day is taking a shower, so that's been really hard. And it's gotten and that's why we like to mix in the full hookups and the boondocking. That keeps me sane.
Yeah.
So we'll do the boondocking, then we'll just go recharge for a while. And yes, that's been key for us. And maybe down the road I will, one day be taking a spritzer shower out, and I don't know, but right now I'm I have to have it. So
as far as how long we can go with our water and tanks, and I'll say this too, if you're boondocking out in the middle of nowhere, and they'll put signs up if you're not supposed to dump. I wouldn't say this on YouTube because people are like, oh my goodness, but the gray water, they allow you to, for the most part, you can dump gray water if you're boondocking out in the middle of nowhere, like BLM land, things like that. So really, the bottleneck is your water source. It's your water tank, and so it's all about, as long as you can get water, you're okay. Obviously, you don't dump the black or anything like that, and we try to pay attention to what goes in our gray when we're doing that kind of thing. And we don't do that if we don't have to do that, if we know we're going somewhere to dump. So it doesn't happen very often that we would ever dump our gray tank anyways. But that's something to keep in mind, that it's kind of a strategy. You can't do that everywhere, though, like national forests, national parks. No. Lots of places you can't, and they'll post it that you can't do that. But a lot of places you're just out in the middle of a field, and it's not a big deal.
As long as you're using, we do try to use detergents and soaps and stuff like that that are,
we have all natural.
that are good,
stuff.
so you're not putting anything harmful into the ground. It's just your your shower water. And
Yeah, I mean, just so yeah, just pay attention to that stuff, and we can go about a week, maybe like 6 knots, I guess, and it not be too bad in our airstream. Which is funny because we can only go about 5 knots in our Class A. That's how much more efficient we've gotten with water, because we had a bigger tank in our Class A. It had a 75-gallon water tank.
Imagine what we could do if we were still in that.
Or we get a toy hauler. It's got 100. A lot of your toy hauler fifth wheels have like a 100-gallon water tank. So you go from 100 to our Class A was 75 to the Airstream 60. So each one you're taking that step down. But we can, even with the Airstream now, we've got more efficient. We can go about 6 knots pretty comfortably. We could probably stretch it out to 7 or 8 if we had to. But that's that's taking again. That's a shower, either a really quick military shower every day, or maybe doing the WAPs every other day, that kind of thing. But still, I mean, nobody definitely like holds their noses as we walk by or anything like that. Exactly. Is it legal? From what I understand, for the most part, in the United States at least, it's different in different countries. Somebody told me it's at New Zealand or somewhere you can just park wherever you want. I don't know. It's weird. Some countries, like, there's not even regulations. Like, you can just park on private land even. Apparently, that's the way it works in the country, is that if somebody wants to park on the land, they can park on the land. I would not advise that in the United States. Yeah, talking about the thieves of the lorry, that we use a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yes, love the thieves. It's awesome.
But for the most part, I think it's either 100 yards or 100 feet off the main highway is kind of like, so for the most part, you're not going to find these national forests and stuff where you just pull right off the highway and you're right there. You are supposed to go a little ways off of the highway. I can't remember if it's feet or yards, but you do have to get a little bit off. But if you do a little research, they're going to tell you, what's legal, how far you can go, and there's also like visitor centers and stuff if you want to get really intense on it. But most of the places we've stayed, I mean, they're really, you can tell.
It's obvious.
It's very obvious that everybody, I mean, there's like homemade fire rings, and it's well worn out, and it's level spots. So as far as it being legal, as long as you watch out, you got to watch out too, like as far as legality. We ran into some Walmarts might have their own policies, but most of the time when it comes to Walmarts and different businesses not letting people park there, it's like a city policy. And so we've seen, was it Austin, I guess? And,
yeah, they have like city ordinances for it.
There's city ordinances where you just can't park anywhere in the city. So it's not necessarily Walmart's fault. So you got to watch for that too and be aware. If you're looking on all stays and you can tell that everything just looks red and nobody can park anywhere, that might be what's going on. There's a city ordinance, and from what I understand, if you try to do that, they're watching for it.
And a lot of times we'll call ahead, like if we're not sure about a Walmart, if there's kind of mixed reviews, or we don't want to be getting that knock on the door. I think somebody mentioned that earlier in a comment. Their fear is getting the knock on the door in the middle of the night, and I think that's everybody's kind of fear. So you don't want to have to get that. But we'll even call ahead, so we'll just phone Walmart and say, hey, we're RVers, we're passing through, is it okay to park? And that way we're not pulling off, going in the store asking. They say no, we have to pack up, turn around. So that's been kind of good for us too.
And that leads into, is it safe? Because I think the only time we've left a boondocking site was a Walmart, right? Did we leave one Walmart? I was trying to think on this one, and I was thinking we pulled into a Walmart in kind of we didn't know at the time. We just looked at all stays and found out it was okay to park there. But it was a lot of semi-permanent residences, and it just didn't feel safe. And so we moved to a different Walmart. But the safety question is a question we get a lot too. I don't know, maybe we're naive, I don't know, but we don't really feel unsafe for the most part places we've stayed. Even in our videos that are currently on YouTube, which are a couple of weeks behind us or whatever, in Chicago, we didn't even feel unsafe there. It had fences all around. And I say unsafe, I guess things I would, like to Chicago, what comes to my mind, if we saw, there was security, they had a delegated security for that place that would patrol, and a security gate when you came in, that kind of thing. So that made us feel a lot safer about that area. I think if it was just an open parking lot randomly in Chicago with no security around, no fences, anything like that, we would be much more leery of it. But that felt safe. Carl said getting Cracker Barrel. We have not done Cracker Barrel yet.
We need to. That's right. Stay at Cracker Barrel and get breakfast in the morning.
We have done. We did Cabela's for the first time. We haven't had the video on it yet.
Yeah,
we did Cabela's is pretty nice. They actually had a dump station there too. So, which Walmart doesn't. So that's nice. Some of these places you stay even have dump stations and stuff. And then Cabela's was nice to go in there and see all the outdoor gear and all that kind of thing too. But safety wise, I don't know if we ever felt. We felt unsafe at one campground, but that wasn't even a boondocking spot. That was just a campground. 3 a.m. trash pickup at Cracker Barrel.
There's always something. There is.
Yeah.
Walmart has their
I think their street
sweepers
sweepers go a little bit closer to the RVs or something.
I think,
yeah. Tiffany, how long does it take to dump the tanks? They're about half the size of what we had in the Class A, so it's not long at all. It takes me 10 minutes or less maybe, and that's me getting out, hooking it up. It took, again, twice that, maybe 20, 30 minutes in the Class A. Yeah, casino parking lots for boondocking too. We haven't done casino parking lots.
We
I've heard
almost
good things
did
about
one
it, though.
time, and then we ended up finding a fairgrounds.
Yeah.
We did a fairgrounds, but
Lots of people do casinos as well, and I've heard good things about those. And some of those I've heard even they have more than just, they might even have electric and things like that for free, and they really want you to park there. That's how is boondocking even free? Well, Walmart, it's a win-win situation on that. But the big picture of what's free and what's not in the United States, there's just lots of land that isn't being used that's owned by the government. And so they've designated a lot of that land as BLM land or national forest or whatever, and which the national forest stuff, you do actually have to pay for a lot of those. So, but you've got BLM land and things like that.
some of the national forests
Some are free. It depends. It depends. And so that's the majority of stuff that's free is stuff that's owned by the government. It's land that's sitting there, and I think it's great. I think it's great that they allow people that use and for the most part, we see people use pretty good etiquette with stuff. Every once in a while, we'll see somebody throwing some trash around and stuff like that. But I think as long as people respect that and do the right things, I think it'll continue to be that way.
We ran into a guy this last boondocking spot who said he actually will pick up the land and stuff, and that's awesome because he wants to keep it, protected. And if they see that people are going to trash it, then obviously they're not going to let us keep camping on it. But I thought that was really cool. He said he would kind of pick up after people because he wanted to keep it that way.
I'm more concerned. I think I'm more concerned with Walmart. So I could really see Walmart in the next 5-10 years, maybe sooner, I don't know. But that they could crack down because people are really abusing the Walmart parking lots we see, just setting up camp. And I'm betting they're setting up camp until somebody kicks them off. We've seen people will stay in a Walmart parking lot, go do something in another campground for 5, 6, 7 days and come back through. And we'll see the same people in that Walmart parking lot. So there's people, I hated it's that way. I wish people weren't abusing it. Yeah, Lori mentioned that's something good to mention, and Carl too. The National Forest is so cheap, I consider it free. Yeah, some of them are like 10, and you get a lot of these places too, and you might check because if you get a senior discount, it's ridiculously low in some of these places. Sometimes it's like $7, $15. I mean, I would take full hookups, $15 in a national forest or a national park over boondocking if it's the right kind of campground. So you might check and see if you get discounts on places too, and it might be better just to not mess with the boondocking.
Yeah, because your parents do that. They get
they do. They get a great deal on a campground in Tennessee that they go to. And let's see, Lori mentioned the majority of BLM places come with a limit how long you can stay. Yeah, I think it's 14 days is kind of the given number, and that's pretty common. State parks, national parks, all that kind of stuff. BLM's worse than the Mississippi. Is west of the Mississippi. Okay, yeah. I don't think I didn't know where the divider was, but that totally makes sense. We've never seen anything east of the Mississippi. You're going to do a lot more of this stuff west of the Mississippi. If you head to New York or anywhere up there, you're stuck looking for driveways or parking lots or all that kind of stuff. We haven't done much of anything up there, which we had our Class A, so that made it harder too. Let's see. Legal. Where can you get water? Water.
That's been a new venture for us.
That's kind of the bottleneck with a lot of boondocking is your water source. And we actually, I don't know that we would have stayed longer in Chicago, but ironically, we had to kind of push ourselves out of Chicago because we could not find water. It's really funny because there's probably millions of people with water all around us, but there was nowhere to get water with an RV. We could have got jugs of water at Walmart, but there were no gas stations. Sometimes you can go to gas stations. Sometimes we'll have them. It's pretty rare. Your truck stop's your best bet. If they have a dump station at a gas station, like a Flying J or something, it's a pretty good chance they have a water source there too. You may have to pay for it, you may not.
We've had good luck with pilots.
Pilots too, pilots and Flying J's. So watch to see if they have a dump station, because they don't always say they have water, but if they have a dump station, good chance. And then also one thing you can do, we haven't done this, I know people have, you can just go to a campground and you can ask if you can fill up on water and maybe pay a small fee to do that. We've had... Sometimes cities have random, just little stop-off dump stations, water sources and stuff like that. We've seen
it's like $5 and you can fill up with water, or $10 or something.
And then we've seen gas stations too that, I said gas stations, but sometimes you'll just see water spigots kind of just off to the side.
It's
that give away
amazing.
stuff.
You don't really notice them until you start looking for them, and then it's funny
Mm-hmm.
the places that you start to see them. And we try to like always fill up our tanks before we know we're going to a boondocking
Mm-hmm.
spot. It's funny. We have this like we have to prepare. Everything's empty. Like our gray and black are empty. Our water is full.
Mm-hmm.
Our propane is full. Fill up on groceries. Like we try to like all have our showers done so we can
Yeah.
go a couple more days and Hensley. But it's interesting, and then we'll carry the jugs around with us in our car when we
Yeah.
leave. So if we do see something like at a gas station or an area that he's talking about you can pay, then we'll fill up our jugs and then we'll just take and keep dumping.
Yeah, those two, the jugs she's talking, we have 2 6-gallon jugs we bought at Walmart, and those things have been awesome. We always try to keep them empty with us in the van in case we run into something, because you never know, even like a city park or something like that could have a
Yeah.
water source. So that's good to have. Water's been a bit of a pain when we've had to leave areas because
So what, boy?
having a hard time finding water. And Chicago was tough too, because
Let's do this.
like even if yeah, we'll talk. Carl's mentioning that. Sometimes
Let's do this, sister.
you know, Chicago was tough because there just wasn't anywhere that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to get anything there at all that was close. Let's go back to some of these questions. Lori said, have you used Harvest Toast much? We have not used it at all. We had it a full year. I think it's expiring this month, and we did not use it. I've heard there's a lot of really good places once you get out, like in California and places like that. It's a lot of vineyards. I think it's a lot of it. It's not all it is, but it's a lot of that.
Hey, come here.
But we never use it. Hensley. But I have heard really good things about it and people that really enjoy it. So I'm not going to say don't do it. We took a gamble on it and bought it, but we never did use it.
Maybe one day. I feel like we're tackling just like a bite at a time. So
Did we use Boondockers Welcome one time?
no, we talked about it. We
Yeah.
had both of those. We were like, we're gonna
we didn't
gonna
use
do
those.
more.
We had those a whole year. We never used either one. But that's not to say some people have those and they love them. Carl mentioned dump stations. That's something good to point out. When I say dump stations, like Flying J, so you go to a dump station, you'll almost always see a water source right next to it, but you need to watch. It'll tell you whether or not, how does it describe it? It's called
Potable?
Potable, yeah.
That actually happened to us at Cabela's.
Yeah.
Our plan was
Yeah.
to dump and fill up with water, and then it said that it wasn't potable water. And we're like, oh, so now what? That was our plan.
Yeah.
But
So
we found a gas station that had some.
so you want to have, you're looking for potable water. Avoid the non-potable water, which we don't ever drink out of our water tank in our RV anyways, but still I don't be brushing my teeth with something. I think the reasoning is that the maybe go play with her for a little while.
Okay.
I think the reasoning on the non-potable is that the water source that's coming in is very, very close to the sewer source. So I don't know if they think it might get crossed or something might happen. But you'll see fresh water be very close to it as well. But there'll usually be a sign that's pretty obvious what's potable or you can use and what's non-potable. Avoid the non-potable. Yes, non-potable is bad. I don't know why they just don't say like good water, bad water, drinking water. Sometimes it will say drinking water and stuff like that too. But we've seen the potable a lot more. Tiffany said, just to clarify, not all boondocking is free, right? Yeah, it depends on how you clarify boondocking, but we have definitely stayed places where there were no hookups, and we still had to pay. We did that in Estes Park, close to Estes Park in Colorado. We paid, man, it was like $25 a night for no hookups. So I don't know. It's a gray area with boondocking. Is it still boondocking if you're paying for it or not? So there's definitely times because of the location and because maybe it was peak season or something, we have paid, which seems crazy. You're paying just to park on a piece of land and that's it. But it happens. And we paid $35 a night in Chicago to sit on some pavement. But if you go to New York, it's even worse. I think it might be 40, 50, $60 a night. I want to say $60 a night. It's not cheap. There's a spot I've heard in New York City, close to it, close to the Statue of Liberty, you can park in with your RV. That's all. It's just an open parking lot. And New Orleans, I think, might have something like that too. So you'll see that in those big cities if you watch for it. These parking lots, which they don't have any amenities, nothing fancy, but it's in a big city, it comes in handy. You don't have to mess with the transportation and all that stuff we talked about. Let's see, solar. Alexa Pure Pro, yes. Alexa Pure Pro water filter, which make water drinkable. Yeah, I'm curious how well, could that take, I don't know. Would you be confident in that? You think, Handy, would you be confident in that You know, like with even with like the non-potable, do you think does that claim to be able to take? Because I mean, they've got some crazy good filters now. Like you can get filters and go overseas and just like dip it into a pond pretty much, and it'll clarify. So I mean, I don't doubt there's filters out there that can handle that kind of stuff. We definitely do not have that kind of filter on our Airstreams. He said yes, it will. So if you have, you know, I'm sure if you have a high-end filter like that, that would be an awesome option. Do you have any idea how much does that cost? The Alexa Pure Pro water filter, if you don't mind me asking. Just kind of curious. That would really help with the water situation a lot. I'll wait while he's getting to that. Solar. So how much solar do we have? How much do you need? What can you do with solar? I think we had 200 watts for a while starting off. 200 watts, if you have good sunlight, is enough to charge your devices, do some basic things in your RV if you're boondocking. But if there's not much sun, you're in the shade, the 130 bucks, that's really not bad for what it is. Yes, my wife wants a Berkey so bad. We can't fit one. They're bigger. How big's the maybe the travel Berkey? Maybe that's smaller. We've seen the regular size Berkeys, and a lot of families had those at the family rally we went to. 130 bucks isn't bad for that filter. Wow. But yeah, so I would say starting off kind of a beginner solar package might be 200 watts with 200 amp hours. A lot of people recommend having your amp hours match up with your solar is kind of a general consensus or whatever. But if you had lithium, it could be half of that, I think, from what I understand, because it's doing a full drain on it. But 200's okay. 1,000, again, it does not matter how much solar you have. If you're in shade and it's super cloudy, it's not going to matter. It's just not going to do much. I think if Berkey has lots of sizes, so we need to look. My wife really wants one of those. I don't know where. I think if you're hoping for like to get all the way to an AC or something like that, I think you get like the 1,000 watt range with 1,000 amp hours or 500, 500 in lithium or something like that. So you get into some serious numbers. Only 7.5 in diameter. So we really might look into that. I think having an extra source for filtering water would be nice. That way we wouldn't have to worry about it. Because the thing is too, I guess, I know I'm hopping between solar and water because we're still getting comments on water. The thing with water too, because we don't drink out of our tank, our water tank, when we're boondocking. Now if we're hooked up to a source at like a campground, I do have a filter. And I trust it at like at a campground or something like that, where it's city water. But we always buy our water in jugs when we're boondocking. We don't drink out of our tank, again, like I said, ever. So we're buying lots of jugs. So if you have a way to filter that water effectively, don't bring up the Berkey until no. And so I think if you can find a way to filter the water in your tank, and I hope we can figure that out and we can show that to everybody where we feel safe with it, I think it would help a whole lot. You don't have to buy those jugs of water anymore as well. That would be great. And something else in the water, we've looked at getting a external water. It's like almost like a canister, like a large water source that we can keep in the van as sort of like a 30-gallon backup. We've looked at that too. So let's see, Tiffany says, you guys actually drink the ones that say drinking water. Is it easy to find drinkable water? Sorry, I'm letting the question wait for kids. No, it's no problem, Tiff. Only half of us are here. I think the drinking water can be a little tricky, but it's not terrible if you learn those sources. Another place too, if you're in national parks, they'll have, sometimes they'll have spigots around campgrounds. You can go to the campgrounds within there, or you can go even the visitors. Sometimes we've seen it at the visitor center in national parks or state parks. They'll have a water spigot right there. They want people to get plenty of water, and so those sources. But as far as the drinking water when we're boondocking, we just get the 1 gallon jugs at Walmart or any sort of store. They're anywhere from 88 cents to $1. I've wanted to get the kind of jugs that you could take and you can refill. But it's been tricky to find a consistent place that has that. And then we got like all the empty jugs sitting around. So that would save us some money if we could refill stuff at these stores. But see, solar. I was talking about AC with solar. I don't know what you guys got. I've got more solar stuff. Somebody specifically asked about flat panels versus flexible panels on Patreon. Yes, they do make collapsible water containers that can fold down. Maybe there's one that doesn't do this. We didn't go that route because where we were going to store the containers, when you buy the collapsible ones, they're collapsible, so they're not as solid. And so you almost need like a basket or a good space to contain the containers, if it makes any sense. And we didn't have a good spot to contain the collapsible containers. So we went with the solid ones you can get at Walmart for they're like maybe $12-15, something like that. There's 6 gallons each one that we've got that we use. Flat solar panels over flexible. We went with the flat. From what I researched at the time when we started our solar back at the beginning of this year, was that you're going to get more efficiency out of the flat ones versus the curve. The curve, the pro, is that it's going to be, you can probably put more of those because they curve. They're not going to show as bad. They're lighter weight. So there's lots of advantages for the curve panels or the stick-ons. I say curve, but they're stick-on, I guess, where they kind of mold to the top of your RV. But the efficiency was really important to us because we had a limited amount of roof space, and I wanted to get as much efficiency as we could. Let's see. So that was the thought on that. Lori asked about the fan. Yeah, when we put that fan back on, I'm not gonna say you can't hear it at all, but you have to be listening for it. Like, we're not like sitting there like if we're watching TV or just hanging out with Hensley and like it's probably like every 30 seconds. We don't have to worry about that fan noise. It's not bad. And the thing that's making the fan noise is just like a cheap converter, cheap inverter that I could go get probably a better one that's not as loud if I ever got around to it. Just haven't done it. Gadgets for boondocking. The Zamp guy told us the flexible ones were less efficient. Yeah, I can't remember how much either. For some reason, 30% is popping in my head, which is a lot if they're 30% less efficient. Don't quote me on that. Look it up and find out. But I think there were enough. If it was 10% less efficient, I want to say if it had been 10%, I probably still would have done it. But I want to say it might have been like 30% or something like that, which is a big deal if you're getting solar. Gadgets for RVing. What's she doing? She found a friend. Last thing I'm gonna touch, and if you guys have got shotgun questions, we'll just do shotgun questions on anything and everything. I'll get Marissa back over here for that. Our favorite gadgets for boondocking, because so I've mentioned a lot of these before, but the NOCO charger has been really helpful. Did you ventilate the air in the couch exhaust? Yes. We've got 2-inch hoses, 3-inch hoses. Sparky helped me install it. You can't see it in the video, which I hate. Maybe I should just zoomed in and showed it. But we have 2 hoses, and I've actually thought about adding a fan in there as well to maybe pull it out. But I have never, and I don't know what you would smell with a battery, but I have never smelt anything as far as the batteries when they're recharging and all that kind of stuff too. So I don't, and we don't even sleep in that room anyways. But that's not. We vented it out. They vent out from the couch out to the. We've got 2 bays where the batteries are out on the outside. That's where they vent out to on those. Gadgets. So the NOCO charger I've mentioned before, love that thing. It can jump off. Yeah, I don't know why he just said Sparky. So he's a really good, in case you're wondering, he's a really good guy. He was helping us out, and I think he just didn't want an influx of people asking for help, that kind of thing. He just wanted to remain anonymous on it. Talk about the gadgets. Which one's your favorite on here on the gadgets I'm going to mention? I'll talk about the NOCO. They said there's I'm just going to tell you because somebody will probably tell you one. Do you know there's like a mini Berkey, or there's like different sizes of Berkeys? Have you looked into all those?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I've been saying we need one. Do you know how much water we're buying?
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's unreal.
Yeah. Well, and then we also mentioned on here too, Handyman, he mentioned a really good filter that I'll show you too. Like if we could even have like a really good filter for the water tank.
We definitely, we're buying way too much.
Yeah, we're buying, and we got the jugs sitting around all the time. Berkey.
Yeah. Hey, thank you. I'm trying to talk him into it, but.
all right. Gadgets. So the NOCO oxygenic shower head. It's been pretty good,
nice.
Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's still got the same or maybe even more pressure than what we had before, but it uses maybe like 30% less water, 40%, quite a bit less water. So your shower head's showering. You get a ton of water in showering if you're not careful.
I like that you can dial it too. Like we can give a lot of pressure or a little pressure. So it's like you can still get the hot water in a shower, but you're not using it. We can just turn the pressure down, and that's been really handy.
And I had to buy that as an add-on to adjust the pressure with the Oxygenix one. It's maybe $5 or $10 for that.
It's been good.
Let's see.
The fan. I love the new fan.
Yeah, we got a 12-volt fan. We showed that in our last video.
Oh, I love it.
It's been good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you just plug that bad boy in, and if you get stuff that's 12-volt, it's easier than trying to convert everything over. They call this Sparky all the time. That may have been, he was actually an electrical engineer, and he was in the Navy? I can't remember which. He was in the military. I can't remember which one as well. probably where he got that. LED lights, I've mentioned in the solar stuff recently. I highly recommend, if your RV does not have LED lights, to at least put in a couple, if not all. Our motorhome, it was awesome. We could Army. Sorry, Carl's an Army. So I don't know what. I can't remember what Sparky. Is it all Army that they're called Sparky, or could that be anything?
I think he was in the Army.
Think he was Army?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it is Army that do that. The motorhome, if you check your RV before you buy new fixtures and all that, our motorhome, all we had to do was swap out the light bulbs. That was awesome. So we spent maybe like $40 buying bulbs, and we swapped out everything in the Class A with LED. The Airstream, you can't swap out the bulbs, so we had to like actually replace the fixtures in that. So, but it's still going to come out and be worth it. Obviously, generator, solar, both. You kind of decide. Retail's $197. No, don't worry about that. $197 is still a good deal. If that thing can filter any kind of water, that's pretty awesome. And then your tub, right? You like your tub for your dishes?
Yeah, so we just put like a tiny tub in the sink.
What in the world is that? It's like a wood chipper cranked up or something over here. Civilian employment.
So we put like a tiny little tub, and I wash the dishes in it, and so the water can be tossed out, or we'll, if we're able to toss it out, we'll toss it out, or we'll flush it down the black tank, because our black tank takes forever to fill up compared to our gray. So
yeah, we utilize our black, and we've looked and we talked about this. We talked about taking our black and our gray, combining those tanks, just through using a Valterra valve, which is really easy to do. I've already actually got one on there, and then buying a composting toilet. And so that would give us basically double the space. But it works. We try to dump as much as we can into the black tank and use it that way. So it's not too bad. I don't know if we're going to go through that trouble or not.
We do that, like Hensley, when she takes her bath, we'll take her bath water and we'll dump it in there.
Mm-hmm. Anything we can goes in the black tank to save the gray. The gray will fill up first. The black takes way longer. Okay, so I've got downsides and upsides of boondocking. But I want to give you guys a chance. If anybody's got shotgun questions, here we go. So, are you happy with your new washer dryer? If you guys got other just shotgun questions about anything and everything, I think we are. I think the biggest downside is the thing is cheap junk. But I think most of them you're going to buy, honestly, are going to be cheap from everything I read. You look at the reviews. I mean, they all have 100 plus reviews, and none of them are like over 4 stars. They're like 3.5 tops. We've had a bolt already come out while it was spinning, and I found a random washer. I don't know what it went to, but it came out of the drain. So I don't know how long it's going to last, but yes, I have liked it. I think if it'll last 6 months, we'll feel like we got our money's worth out of it. If it lasts a year, we'll be thrilled. I don't see it lasting a year.
Because it's very handy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we catch ourselves, like, you know, we had a little bit of water left in the tank from boondocking, and we're like, let's just go ahead and wash some clothes while we're here, and you know, that way, because we're about to go dump our tanks and then go back to a boondocking situation, and so that was really nice. If we just catch ourselves without any kind of a
it's kind of the same concept. RV Love drains some into the gray tank. I guess I think they're draining it out and then carrying it inside and pouring it in the gray tank. I think is what they do.
Into the black, you mean?
Yeah. I think that's what. Yeah, so you can do it that way too. That would work too. Yeah, we've liked the washer.
It's been really handy, like having one on board. I don't know, because it's not all the time convenient that we're around a laundromat. I mean, some campgrounds do, but the more boondocking you're doing, the less you're going to be around laundromats, because you're out in the middle of nowhere, or they don't have that. So it's been really handy.
Again, it's all about the water. Do
you know how much water it uses? Somebody had asked that one
time.
Well, we
I
have
haven't
to wash,
calculated
then we have to rinse.
Yeah,
so.
You've got 2 wash cycles, and each cycle probably uses 3 gallons, maybe 3 or 4 gallons at least. So you're talking 6 to 8 gallons per load is my guess, which is a pretty good chunk of water in perspective of everything else. And we do a couple loads a lot. Like our washer dryer combo we had in our motorhome, I'm gonna say this thing is maybe like a third smaller than that, maybe something like that. It's close. It actually is close as far as the amount of clothes we can do in this thing.
Half.
Yeah, half to 2/3, something like that. So this is a little bit smaller. So I don't know, and we never calculated how much water the washer dryer combo, and that's a real washer spin dryer combo in our Class A motorhome. So we never did calculate how much water that used, but I know it was using a lot. We never used it while boondocking. She asked if we've ever been to Devil's Tower. Lots of people have talked about that.
I know.
It's coming.
It's on our list. I think we're going to have to go a little bit out of the way, but I think it's going to be worth it.
If you ever try to navigate this area, during peak season. Everywhere's bad in peak season, but like especially like Yellowstone and Denver, and I don't know. There's some places that are just nightmarish. So we're going to be in Yellowstone peak season, navigating all that. It's been tough. We're going to try to wing it. I think I just gave up on trying to. Their reservation system's really inefficient.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
Nathan just wants to hunker down.
She says it's worth it, so we've got it on our list. I know.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick, if anybody got any more questions? I love the interaction. I love that. That's one of my favorite things about that live stuff. It's like, because sometimes people don't know it, but we haven't like talked to an adult in a week, and we're still not like getting to talk to an adult, but it's like we are. It's through text, so it just depends. Because again, the way we camp, you know, you'll see some of our places we camp, like there's nobody around hardly, so it's tough. Where did we stay in Chicago? It's, what was it called? McCormick Truck Marshalling Yard.
Yeah.
I think McCormick Truck Marshalling Yard. Again, All Stays will have it. If you look for camping in All Stays, that's like it in Chicago. That's it. Nothing else within like at least 30 minutes, if not 45 of there.
Would we pay 30, 35?
Was it 30 or 35 a night? It might have been 35.
And I mean, it was just a parking lot. But
Thanks, Troy. Yeah, we did. Oh, sorry. It got crazy loud in here. What was Tiffany's last question? What was your last question, Tiffany? Go ahead and ask that one again, just in case we missed it. I'll let Tiffany ask that. But yeah, it was good. The marshalling yard was good. We felt safe.
it was
got
a
to see
little
Chicago.
loud.
Yes. You're an adult. I consider this adult talk, so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that one. We must have missed it. Do you all ever have days where you just hang out in the Airstream? If so, how do you keep Hensley busy? We actually did that some today.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, we'll get to one at a time. Yeah, keeping her busy. We rotate. We hope that there's something in the area we can do as well. So it's not always, if it's a rainy day and we're stuck in the Airstream nonstop all day, we'll just get in the van and go somewhere in the middle of the day to break it up. But like an entire day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. without mixing it up is tough with her.
Like today was our off day, so we have like a.
Yeah, Saturdays we try not to do too
Yeah,
much.
we're opposite. We do things in the week and then we take off on the weekend. But we went, our campsite, like our campground had like a little beach area, and we went and we let her swim. We played outside, and we're at the park now. So we just we have some tent things for her to play with outside. She played on the hammock today.
Yeah, we
Just
we got,
random stuff.
Yeah, so
but
that's the first time we put the hammock up. I'm terrible at putting a hammock up.
Hensley's following these people.
Okay. She's literally leaving with her friend. Hensley!
You can't go.
See if I can do these last questions. You can have some very informative conversations with a toddler. My niece is giving me some interesting theology. Hensley is getting to that age where, Hensley's getting an age where she's starting to have conversations with it. It's pretty interesting. I'll definitely agree with that. It's obvious. Let's see. Holding out all stays. Think I'm going to get it. There's no perfect app. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. All stays the same way, but in general, I'm going to say it's one of the better ones we used. Carl said there's no campgrounds in Chicago. Totally agree. Looked in super chat for the live videos. I haven't. I haven't. I do know what it is for the most part, but we haven't looked into that yet. As found its place of trees. Tiffany asked about trees for hammocks near our site. That's part of why we haven't used the hammock all that much. A lot of places are really picky about what you do to the trees. They don't want clotheslines tied to them. They don't want hammocks tied to them, all that kind of thing. The place we're at right now, obviously they don't care. I'm going to say the majority of places don't like you tying stuff to trees. So you don't get the picturesque idea of, I'll be laying in my hammock all day while I'm RVing. I don't know that you get to do that. A lot of RVing isn't as picturesque as maybe you think it is, but I don't know that it's not quite like that most places because they're picky about the trees. But some places don't care. This one didn't care, so we got it up. Anything else? Marissa, you want to bring Hensley over here? We'll let her show the monster thing. Thank you. We'll show. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. we just want to do more live stuff. I think the goal of what we do is for people to get a feel for everything, what RV life is really like, and we hope that by opening up our lives, we can help people do that. That's part of this
just
too.
looking for you and walk over that. There they are.
Hensley wants to show. I'll give me a second. I'll let Hensley show her monster thing. Come here, Hensley. Show your monster. Show the monster. She All right, come here. You ready to do monster?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if we can find it. Where was it at? It was
Get ready to be scared, guys.
Oh. Oh, let me get it out of the way. All right, do it. Ready?
You're so scary.
They're saying you're so scary, Hensley. They're saying you're so scary. All right, let me swap it back, Hensley.
What
You're a good monster. We'll do the monster again sometime.
Aw, you're so scary.
They're having nightmares for weeks, Tiffany said. We had one last question. We'll wrap up. What time zone are we in now? Will the time change as these move west? We're actually already west. We're in Mountain Zone, so we're doing this at 5 p.m. here. So it won't change for you guys. It'll always be 7 Eastern, and we'll just keep doing it earlier and earlier. I don't think we'll go farther west than the Mountain Zone this time. So we hope to get further west than this at some point, but not yet. Well, it's been good, guys. I appreciate it. You got
Yeah, I don't know. I've been in and out.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We will. Should I say catch you guys later? I need a better phrase.
We tried a
I
different
never
phrase
tried.
in every
All right.
word.
We'll catch you guys later.